The Dorker tool is very interesting because it allows us with a couple of clicks to have the whole list of the most important dorks that we can use to do bug bounty. Then, what we should do is very simple. We are just going to copy the link of the tool, and we are going to open another tab and we paste. You can see a little bit what we are doing. We paste the URL, but we are going to replace the domain, this domain, TLD, the top-level domain, with the domain that we are interested in investigating. In this case, the domain that we are interested in investigating already. The domain that we are interested in investigating. For example, let's take one of those that are within the scope. Obviously, uber.com is, but we could take, for example, uberinternal.com. Then here I will change by uberinternal.com. And we make the query. Then look here. They give us, I think you can see it well, all the URL. Here, do you see better all the URLs that we can test than to see URLs with parameters so that later we can play with those parameters in a later attack. URLs using PHP AXPJ to be of identify extensions. URLs have TXENF files. Configuration files, for example, that is very interesting. Files with parameters that could be used for SSRF attack. A request forgery. We could look for parameters with open redirect as well, also with open redirects that were failing, etc. So as you can see, we can find many tests in a single tool without the need to do manual tests. So here what we will have to do is to verify each of the tests. Here it tells us that there is nothing. We could even choose the to-do, right? What are we going to do? You can choose all of them at any given time, but let's look at, or let's click here on to-do, and let's go, for example, with this one. Ready. Let's see this one. Okay, Uber internal. Is it uberinternal.com, right? Let's see it. Uberinternal.com. Yes. Okay. Has not given us any result. Let's go with this other test. We have to be patient. Don't worry. We can change the domain if you want to, like to show you, but we are going to find, for example, let's see if there are configuration files. Remember, it is very likely that we will not find anything because Uber invests a lot in bug bounty. Is normal. But from GitHub, let's see from GitHub what we find. Look, there is no repository. GitHub with the URLs with the parameter we're looking for. We're looking for PWD or FTP or files. Let's try this other and see if we find anything. No, it's fine. Let's try this one. This is from GitHub Dork 3. This is the third one. Okay, we can make a change. No, let's not use Uber internal. Let's use uber.com, for example, and see how we do. Let's see if we can come up with something. Uber. Done. Then, let's try this one and see if we find something. Obviously, Google tells us that because we're doing a lot of queries, so they need us to validate that we're not a robot. Let's see. All right, I'm not a robot. Okay, so look, Uber.com does have URLs with parameters. See? Job openings. All of these. These URLs, for example, use parameters within the search. Here is a query, etc., and parameters there. Okay, we could look at, for example, GitHub. You guys can then test according to the scopes of those targets. Well, GitHub didn't show anything. Let's go to second. Or, for example, configuration files, configuration extensions. Let's see if we find anything. There's only one, an XML sitemap of Uber, that helps us to understand a little bit the Uber domain. It's a good result. We could look to see if there's anything related to request forgery. So, as you can see, the Dork generator saves you a lot of time and gives you the searches at once, ready to be tested. It's up to you to test with the domains you need. Look, there's actually one here. There's an interesting URL for Uber that supposedly contains the word password, but hey, it must be around here somewhere. Yes, let's see if I say password is one of the words that they searched for here. Look, there's email, phone, password secret. Well, there are several searches there. So, as you can see, it's very easy to use this tool and it saves a lot of time. Obviously, in a domain like this, because of those who have done so many tests, is not so easy to find, let's say juicy files. But you can try with a completely different domain, and then you will probably find a more effective result. Remember, domains that are within a bug bounty program, where you are authorized to do these tests, because nevertheless they are not illegal. The information that you can find, depending on the type of information, because it can be sensitive and you cannot use it. So we must be very careful, and as far as possible always, work with companies that are using or that have a bug bounty program, or that have a vulnerability disclosure program that is not going to generate any kind of legal problem for you. We'll continue.